Hello guys, my name is Destiny and welcome back to this video. So in this one, we're going to go ahead and start styling the YouTube video page using CSS. And trust me, we're going to be learning a whole lot of contents here and we're going to be having fun while learning how to work with CSS. And if you're a total beginner, this video is for you. And if you're trying to make your CSS skills more stronger and sharpen, then this video is also for you. So this is what we're going to be building over here. In the last one, we went ahead and did this ugly looking thing over here, but that was just the structure. So in this one, we're going to go ahead and make it look really nice using the CSS. Okay, and in order to do that without wasting any more time, we should go ahead and get started. So I'm going to open up my code editor. This is where we stopped from the last time, and I'm going to open up single.css. That's where we're going to be working. Now I'm also going to bring this and put it side by side, so I'm just going to drag this and put it over here while getting this one back to the place it's supposed to be. So the first thing we could do is go ahead and get the fonts that we'll be using. So I'm simply gonna come over to the style.css, and as y'all know, we already have this import over here. So I'm simply gonna grab this and I'm simply gonna put it over here. As simple as that. Now the next thing we need to do is go ahead and target all the elements. So I'm gonna use star. I'm gonna use this to get before, all the before, and I'm also gonna use this to get after. And you could do this, you could not do it, it's not compulsory, everything is still going to work fine. And what we can simply do is go ahead and add the box sizing, and we're going to add in a border box over there. Now I want to go ahead and target the body, and for this body I'm just going to say the font family should be, and you remember we used the Roboto from the last time, so I'm going to say Roboto, and alongside Roboto we're going to go ahead and pass in sans serif. So I'm going to say sans serif, so that's going to be alternate fonts if Roboto is not found. Now in the body, I'm going to put in a padding, and this padding should just have 16px like that, and 16px, that's looking good. We also want to pass in 16px, and we want to pass in 0. Okay, so as you can see now, the body have got a padding of its own, and I'm going to refresh this so we see how everything is looking. So that's it. Now the next thing we want to do is go ahead and let's pass in the margin. So I'm going to say margin, and I want to pass in 56px. I want to pass in 000. So if you've been following along from other video, then you're going to understand how padding and margin works by now, and hopefully you guys already knows that. And now the next thing we want to do is go ahead and pass in the font size, and this font size I'm simply going to say let's just say 16px. That's for all the fonts. And I'm also going to pass in a color, and all the color should be black. Okay, and all the background color should be white. Okay, so that's it. Now I want to go ahead and target the header. So the header, and in the header I want to pass in the position of we're gonna say fixed. So I don't want the header to move around. So as you can see now, the header is fixed, but before it wasn't fixed. And alongside the header fixed, I want to pass in the top 0. I'm going to pass in left. I'm going to say 0. And there is one thing now. Okay, let's just keep going. I'm going to say background color should be white. So okay, that's it. And also I want to say z index should be 1. That's to make everything go behind it and make it come to the front, right? And also we could pass in width. The width should be 100%. That's what we're going to use. And so alongside the width 100%, we just want to go ahead and add a little box shadow to it. So I'm going to say box shadow, and for this one we're simply going to use 0 1px, and we want to use 0, and let's just give it a color, and this one should be black. And let's see, 0 1px 0 black, but I want to make this black really faint, because we're going to be using so I'm going to do 0.1 for that. Okay, so as you can see now, it's looking really faint. Now that's simply what we want to do. Now let's go ahead and target the video item. So I'm going to say video underscore items, and I want to target the video in it. So if you've been following along from the other tutorials, then you'd know what this means over here. That simply means we are targeting the video tag that's in the video items class div. Okay, so we're passing width, and we want to simply pass in 215px. Now this is totally up to you. You could just play around with it, and take note, this is how everything is looking now. Okay, and I'm just gonna get back over here. Let's keep going. So we passed in width 250px, 215px. I'm also gonna pass in a height, and I'm gonna say height should be 170px, and I also want to pass in object dash fit, and I'm gonna say cover. Okay, so no matter what the height is, it's also always gonna be covered. So that's pretty much what we want to do. Okay, so alongside the video items video, I want to also target the image. So I'm going to say video underscore items, and I want to target the image. And this image, we could simply, okay, let's just say I want to target, there is an a tag, then there is an image. So I want to target that. And in here, what I can simply say is give that a width of, actually, I want to get rid of this object cover, and I'm going to put it down here. So I'm going to say width. And this width, I simply want to pass in, let's just say 295 pixels. I'm going to say 295 pixels. And for the height, I'm simply going to say, we'll just say 170 pixels. Okay, so there is something, let's see. I'm going to get back to the video.html, and right at the top, I'm going to get this is the single page, this is the video items. And let's see. Okay, let's just get back to the single CSS, and let's keep working with this. So this is all we've got now. Now we need to go ahead and also target the details. Okay, so I'm gonna say video underscore items, and we want to target the detail class, or rather it's called details. So this one, we're simply gonna give it a margins up of 15px, and alongside this, I'm gonna go ahead and target the video, and I want to target the image. So the image, I'm going to give all the images a width of 50 pixels, and that's not what we're supposed to have. This is supposed to be image. And I'm going to say, I want to give come on, what am I doing? I'm going to say width of 50 pixels, and I also want to give a height of 50 pixels. Okay, so as you can see, all these images are starting to come together. Now the next thing we could do is just go ahead and let's just pass in the border radius for all the image, and I'm gonna say border radius, and I'm simply gonna say let's just say 50% for all those, and that should be it. I think there is an issue somewhere. I'm gonna get back here, and let's actually look for, these are all the icons for the save, blah blah blah, details. This is image, this is div that has a class of image, and let's see, this one is supposed to be what image, and how about I just want to target the dot image. Let's see. Okay, so that's how it's looking, but that's not what we want to target. Firstly, we're targeting the div. So after the div, then we're going to go ahead and target the images themselves. So we're going to say border, and we simply want to say it's 2px solid, and this is going to be white. And alongside this, we could go ahead and finally pass in margin. So the margin that we want to give it is 10px, 20px, 0 and 0. So there's going to be space all around over here, so everything is going to be on the same line, as you can see. And also I want to go ahead and say video underscore items, and now I want to target the image, and this one we're going to give them a width of, let's say 60%, and that's where I'm gonna copy this. And okay, I'm just going to give a height of 60%, and as you can see, that's how it's looking. Now I'm also going to give it a, let's just say an object fit. So I'm going to say object dash fit, and I'm simply going to pass in cover. So it's going to, and finally I want to pass in border radius. So why I gave object dash fit cover is whatever size of image the user is going to be uploading, it's also always going to take in that same height, even if the image is bigger than 50 pixels, 50% height and width is going to take in that. So that's it. Now the next thing we want to do is this. I'm simply gonna get down here, and I want to pass in, I want to target all the FA dash circle. So you know, all the FA dash check, I think it's circle check, circle dash check, and I simply want to give it a color of blue. So I'm gonna say blue, and let's see, FA circle check. I think let's get back here and say check circle. Okay, as you can see, that's what we're looking for, and we're looking for some kind of blue, not just any blue. So I'm looking for this kind of blue over here, and as you can see, that's what we want. Now that's pretty much it for that. I also want to go ahead and target the video items, and I'm gonna say the heading. So remember when we give the class heading, I'm gonna give this one a width of 80%. I'm also gonna give it a color. So I'm gonna say the color should be black. Simple as that. So let's see, we are targeting this heading over here. This one's over here, so that's what we're targeting. And now we need to go ahead and target the P tag that's in there. So this P tag, we're simply going to give it a margin of, let's say 0. So if you were like, okay, what are we targeting now, I'm going to show you guys. So over here we've got this heading, and this is the class heading that we've got. And in this heading we are simply targeting the, let me see, I'm going to search for, okay, as you can see, this is what we're targeting over here. This P over here, that's what we're targeting. So I'm simply going to get back to the single.css, and we give that a margin of 0. And also we want to target also target a span that's below it. So I'm going to say video underscore items, and I'm targeting the span, and we're going to give this one also a margin of 0. And I also want to give it a color of gray, and as you can see, that's now gray over there. So let me get down here. As you can see, that's gray. That's what we've got. Now I also want to give it a font size, and we could just give it 13px, so it's a little bit smaller than others. And finally, I want to give it a font weight of 500. So I'm going to say font weight should be 500. So that's it. Now I want to go ahead and target all the flex. So I'm going to say the flex. And for all the flex, I'm simply going to give it display flex. Okay, what do you notice now? Everything is coming side by side, and everything just took an instant change just with the display flex. And that's pretty much what I want to do. So let's go ahead and target for the iPad sizes. So I'm going to say add media, and I'm going to pass in screen. Or we can even just say add media, and this is going to pass in the screen automatically for us. And we're going to pass in and over here the minimum width that we want to be getting is, we're just going to say mean width should be let's just say 768, because that's the actual mean width for iPads. And over here, make sure to end this off with that. And also take note, this one over here is supposed to be braces, not curly braces. Okay, not curly brackets. And down here, that's where I'm going to open up a curly bracket, and we're going to get rid of the other curly brackets. And in this one, we want to go ahead and target the body. So we're going to give the body a padding of, let's just say 16px, 48px, 0, and we're going to say 96px. Okay, so alongside the body, we're going to target the header, and this header is simply going to be I just want to give it a padding of 0, 48px, 0, and we're gonna say we could just pass in 96px. So I already explained to you guys what all this does over here, and hopefully you guys understand what the 048 and blah blah blah, what all this does. And you're only gonna understand that if you've been following along from the other videos. So in order to make what's going on more understandable, this is what we're trying to do. So I'm just gonna get this, and I'm gonna make it bigger. Let's put it over here side by side. And alongside the header, we want to also target header, and in this one we want to target the header underscore container. And for the header container, I'm going to give it a height, and for this height we want to make it dynamic, so I'm simply going to calculate, and I'm going to say 15px. So I'm going to say 56px should be plus 8px, as simple as that. And the next one is going to be search, and I want to pass in a width. I'm going to pass in a width of 300 pixel, and I also want to pass in a padding of, let's just say padding of 9 pixel and 12 pixel, just like that. And also I want to target the toggle, so I'm going to say header, and I want to target dash toggle. And for this toggle, we could just say display none, so we don't want to display. Okay, actually here we don't have a toggle, so for this I could just get rid of this. I didn't actually, let's see. Okay, this is it over here, and we've taken care of it in the other CSS. So that's pretty much what we want to do for this one. Now in the next one, we should go ahead and start working with this. We can actually also make this responsive for mobile. So what I want to do is this. I'm just going to get down here. I'm going to say media screen, and for this media screen, I simply want to pass in and the max width for this one is going to be max width, and we want to put in 420 max dash width. And for this one, we're simply going to say 420px. So I'm going to say 420px. And for the max width, what we simply want to target is the video underscore items, and we want to target the mobile image. So I told you guys we're going to be adding a mobile image later. And for this mobile image, we're going to simply put in a width of 50%. And we also want to put a height of, let's just say, 70 pixels. And that's pretty much it. Now we want to go ahead and start working with the main contents. Now you're gonna see some things actually work, because what we did now was just, you know, target some classes that we're gonna be adding later, but now you're gonna see the actual thing. So we're gonna pass in a width for this. For the left, we're gonna pass in a width, and this width we're simply gonna say it should be 1000 pixels, just like that. So we wanted to take up all the pixels over there. And for the color of the left, we want everything to be black, just like this. And also we want the margin right to be 30 pixels. So I'm gonna say margin right should be 30 pixels. And we also want to go ahead and target the right. So for you to see what's going on over here now, we need to make it look this way. And I could just get my code and put it down here. And I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller like this, so you can see what's going on while I also type out the code. So we're targeting right, RIGHT, like that. And for the right, I'm gonna pass in a width of, let's just say we wanted to take up 350 pixels. So I'm gonna say 350 pixels, and as you can see now, it's trying to take up all the pixels over here, the 350. And also I'm gonna give it a height of auto, and I also want to give it a margin right of 10 pixels. And as you can see, everything is coming together. Now I'm going to go ahead and target the left contents. So I'm going to say left, and I want to target the left underscore content, just like that. And I simply want to give this a width of 850 pixels. So I'm going to say 850 pixels. And what do you notice? As you can see, everything is beginning to spread out. So I want to put this in its original size, which is 100. So we see everything that's going on. So yeah, that's it. Now let's see other things that we're going to be doing. So I want to just go ahead and also target the right content. So I'm going to say right underscore content, and for this one we're simply going to pass in width of 350 pixels. So width 350 pixels, and yeah, that's it. So I want to check out for something. So I'm going to copy that right content. I'm going to come over here, and right now, as you can see, we don't have any right content, so that's an error. So to add in the right content, we simply need to get the right over here, and I named it right container instead of right underscore content. Okay, so that's it, right content, and I think that should be working now. So I'm going to copy the right content. I'm going to come over here, and as you can see, that's it. So right content, and let's see. We target the right over here, we target the left content. So now we need to go ahead and target all the flex. We want to give all the flex display flex again, but I think we already had this from the future, and rather from the past when we added .flex and all this got line by line. And also you remember we have this flex too. So this flex too, I also want to give it a display of flex, but I want to also pass in a justify content, and I'm simply going to pass in space between all that. Okay, so I want to get back to my video HTML, and I'm going to show you guys where we'll have the left two. Sorry, rather it's supposed to be flex 2. So I'm going to pass in flex 2. So that's it over here, the flex 2, and that's for this one's over here. So take a close look at what's going on over here. Now I'm simply going to get back to the style to the single CSS, and as you can see, this is how everything be looking now. I'm gonna get rid of the display flex, so you see how it was looking. Now if I come over here and add these things, as you can see now it's taking shapes. Okay, so look at this now. you can see that the 5k, this like blah blah subscribe button, all that have gone to the center. But when there isn't this, as you can see, all this was together. Okay, so that's it. Now the next thing we want to pass in is the left video. So we want to target the left video, so I'm going to say dot left, and I want to target the video itself, and I'm going to give this one a width of, let's say, 100%, and I also want to give it a height of 70 viewports. So I'm going to say height of 70 viewports, view height ports rather. So as you can see now, it's coming together and it's starting to look like the actual YouTube video page. And the next thing we need to go is go ahead and target the tags. So for the tags, we're going to give it a color of blue, and as you can see now, the tags have a color of blue. And also alongside the tags, we also want to give the font weight should be 500 and the font size should be 15px. So I'm going to say font weight, and I'm going to pass in 500, and I'm going to say font size, and I'm simply going to pass in 15px. Okay, so that's how it's looking. And I just want to give it a margin bottom, and let's just say 4px, so it goes a little bit down, and that's it. So the next thing we want to target is the border bottom. So I'm going to say border underscore bottom. That's what we gave it. And for that one, I'm going to add a border bottom. And for this border bottom, we're going to give it 1px. It's going to be called solid. And we're going to give it this, let's just say we want to give it black. And for this one, I'm going to choose the default black that I want to give it. And that means I'm simply going to be reducing the opacity for it. And as you can see, that's how it's looking. I also want to reduce the opacity. That's way too much. I also want to reduce it again. Okay, so that's it. Now I want to go ahead and give some padding bottom because I don't like the way it's looking now. So I'm going to give padding bottom, and I'm going to say 10 pixels. And as you can see, it gave some padding bottom over there. I'm going to say 15 pixels. I want that to go a little bit down. And yeah, that's it. So the next thing we could go ahead and do is target the view. So I'm going to target firstly left, and I'm going to target view. And for this one, I'm going to give it a margin top of 10px. So I'm going to say margin top, and I'm simply going to pass in 10px. So that's for this view over here. Okay, now if I get rid of this, you see where it was. Now if I add that again, you see where it is now. And I also want to go ahead and target all the icons that we've got over there. So I'm simply going to say the left, and I want to pass in the icon. So remember when we're giving all those divs a class icon. And for this one, I want to give them a margin right of 10px. And as you can see, there's it over here. So I'm going to come over here and refresh so we see all the icons. So this is how it's looking. And where could I put this so you guys see what's going on? So I could put it at the top over here so you see what's going on. This is how it was looking before, this is how it's looking now. So I think I have to manually refresh that for that to show up. And for the icon, we need to go ahead and target the details. So I'm gonna, okay, what did I do? I'm gonna say dot left, and I want to target the details. And for those details, we can simply give them a margin top of 10px. So we want this to come down. And as you can see, I'm gonna come over here, and so as you can see, that was at the top, but now as you can see, we now give it some margin top. So dot left, dot details. I also want to check out for something in the video HTML. I'm gonna come over here, and I'm gonna search for details. So that's it over here. So this is what we are targeting. Now in the single.css, alongside the left detail, I want to go ahead and target the left detail h4 and the left detail h5. So I'm going to copy this one over here, and I'm simply going to paste this down here. I'm going to say left details h4. I'm going to put a comma over there, and left details h5. So for this one, I'm simply going to give a margin, and that's supposed to be a margin. Okay, that's supposed to be a margin. Okay, I think there is an issue. I need to get rid of this comma over here, and I simply need to pass in a margin, and this one is going to be 0, and I want to pass in margin top 10px. So I'm going to say empty 10px, and I also want to pass in the we could just say font size 15px. So I'm going to say font dash size and 15px. So as you can see, they are all beginning to look good. As you can see, the show more button is now looking this way. If we refresh, then I'm gonna refresh this. So as you can see, the caret button isn't showing. I think maybe we messed something up over there. So I'm just gonna get back here, and I'm gonna look for the caret. So fa dash caret dash up. Okay, that's for the hide reply. Okay, but for this show more, we can actually just pull we could pull caret down. so it knows that it's supposed to show more. And over here I'm simply gonna pass in an I tag, and this one we're gonna give it a class of that's caret up, but this one is supposed to be caret down. Okay, so show more, and that's looking good. So the next thing we want to do is simply come over to the single.css, and after giving the font size, we want to target the h4 itself. So we specifically want to target the h4. So I'm going to say left.details, and I simply want to target the h4 itself, and I want to give it a font weight. Okay, not that. So I'm going to say, okay, what am I typing? Not don't, but font weight. And this one I want to give it 400. So as you can see now, it increased the font weight a little bit. And also I want to give it a font weight, a margin right of 70 px. Okay, so I'm going to say margin right, and I'm going to say 70 px, just like that. Okay, so it's all looking good now. Now the next thing we want to do is go ahead and target the h5 itself. So I'm also going to copy this, I'm going to paste this down here, and I'm going to say h5 like that. And as you can see now, it's not looking good at all, and that's because we want to give it its own we only want to give it the font weight. So I'm going to get rid of this, come over here and refresh. So that's how it's looking. But how about I get rid of this? I don't want that to be bold. I don't want this YouTube clone YouTube bold, so this is how I want it to be. And yeah, that's it. So the next thing we'll want to do is this. For those let's see. Okay, I think that's it